What is up, peeps? It's going to be a busy week. Welcome back to more CS News. There's so much happening right now. There's going to be multiple videos throughout this week, and some big news, of course, from this past weekend. And something that came seemingly out of nowhere was one of the bigger team transfers ever in CS history. That being an entire roster now sold and now playing under Aurora. That is all of Eternal Fire. Yes, a team that is making playoff run after playoff run, have to really get over that hump to be a solidified top 5 team. But certainly a great team out there, one that catches a lot of eyes, has a lot of great fans, and for good reason. And out of nowhere, it is Aurora now purchasing the entire Eternal Fire roster, as they did announce this past weekend. And a lot of people being like, wait, what just happened? Even their own players responding, of course, to amplify this post even further, saying, what the F? Like, what just happened? All of Eternal Fire is now no longer, and they will be Aurora, which it feels wrong. I'm sure it's going to take some time to get past this. A common talking point out there, apparently, when it comes to gambling sponsors allowed in Turkey, that is where this Eternal Fire roster was based, maybe not allowing them to make enough money to actually afford this kind of roster. So Aurora comes in and they buy out the entire thing. To which someone like Woxic took to Twitter, and there will be some lack here when it comes to translation. So some of these words will change. I don't think this was meant with any ill will. Just to clarify that, saying, hello, everyone. I would like to start my words by thanking you for your endless support to Eternal Fire and our team, which started our journey by establishing just a counterstrike team and has become one of the biggest clubs in Turkey today. As some of you know, following some developments, the fact that the up-and-coming period will not be very encouraging for our CS squad, and unfortunately the inadequacy of CS sponsorship conditions in Turkey made it necessary to take this regrettable decision. And I think what he actually means there, I believe someone said a sad decision. You know, they don't want to leave Eternal Fire, but you know, for the betterment of this roster, you know, Eternal Fire had to do this. And so I don't think he means ill will. He gets to stay with his teammates. So that's where there was a lack of translation there. During this process, our CS team will continue under the name Aurora. All branches within Eternal Fire Club will continue their activities actively. I have full confidence that you will continue to give us the same support you have shown us so far in our new home, Aurora. I know that you'll be able to understand this process and what has happened better as time goes by. However, I am also aware that it will not be easy for most of you to accept this. My heart is broken. There is sadness on my face. Goodbye, Eternal Fire family. Hello, Aurora. And so clearly, you know, Eternal Fire being Turkish based, and of course these players being from Turkey, there's going to be some sadness there naturally. I think he means well, and it's just I don't know, like it's awesome for the team, for Eternal Fire to get some funding, maybe to rebuild and revamp a new roster in the future. It sucks that in the current state of Counter-Strike, you know, Turkey maybe not allowing those gambling sponsors at other big teams. If you're a top 10 team in the world, you have a sponsor, you're sponsored by gambling. Like it's a well-known fact. That's how you can afford these rosters and keep them going. You need those big sponsors, and unfortunately, due to local restrictions, they can't do that. So you can't blame either side. You can't blame Eternal Fire for taking that money, and you can't blame the players for being a bit sad about it, because it might be hard for some Turkish fans to cheer for them under a different team name, especially if there are eventually roster changes. It's weird with the team name change. It is a bit prominent, but knowing going forward, I can't confirm to all of you guys, Eternal Fire, as Woxic did say, they will continue. They will build new rosters, and they will keep on in the CS scene. I don't know at what level. I don't know what's coming next for a team like this, but they will continue separately. There was some confusion on Reddit of like, oh, has Eternal Fire now been bought by Aurora? So they're going to be operating as is under Aurora, like under a different name? No, they will remain separate entities. This roster is gone. They are done and dusted with Eternal Fire. Eternal Fire will continue with a new roster in the future of Counter-Strike, and Aurora will now have their entire roster for the future of Counter-Strike. So yeah, I understand the sadness, but regardless, it was freaking huge news. And also some big news out there now, finally confirmed after a few weeks. It will be Siuhy to join Team Liquid, and he had his first performance, and it did not go as well as expected. Legacy really beating up on Team Liquid, as it will be Siuhy kind of lightening the reins, at least for Twist. I believe Siuhy, of course, taking over IGL roles. Twist now to actually go back to full fragging mode, and people expecting this to maybe really open up Twist and this Liquid lineup. Did not do so in their first series together, as of course was noted by the players. They got a lot to learn, a lot to improve upon, and you know, there's different opinions on the honeymoon period, the honeymoon phase of a new roster, but this is top-notch Counter-Strike. So for a big team move to happen like this, and then for them to lose, I don't think that's all too surprising. As of most recently, with all these roster changes, a lot of people out there feeling bad for the Dagsters of the world over at Falcons, set to be replaced by Munacy, and of course JKS here on Liquid. it's always a sucky situation. You hope they land on their feet, and maybe they're smirking a bit as these roster moves have now happened, and these teams are getting whooped immediately after they make their moves. Team Liquid now joining that, but the potential is there. With a guy like Siuhy, who was sought after by the big names, you leave a team like Mao's, people thinking maybe G2's going to grab him, maybe some other team out there, and Liquid get him. So can they use him to his full capabilities? We await to see that, but the debut with Liquid Siuhy, maybe not what people were expecting. But the news is going to continue. You guys are going to see me plenty of times this week. If I miss anything, my DMs are open, and as is the comment section. You guys have been leaving a lot of comments as of lately. What has been the biggest shock you guys have seen in CS News? Have I missed anything? And if I did, well, I know I have. That's why I'm going to see you back here bright and early tomorrow morning with more. Till next time, please take care of yourselves. Drink up, hydrate, all right? Because you're going to need it. It's a long freaking week because guess what? We also have PGL Bucharest because these guys never freaking rest, and there's always tournaments on. All right, I'll see you guys back here soon. Take care.